guys and gals, here we are on today's project. Like I promised you guys and gals, every Monday we're going to work on Medusa. So, we're on the doors again, and what we're going to do is get these doors straightened out. Now what I mean by that, okay, these are El Camino doors. Then we modified our B pillar, moved it back almost 12 inches here, eliminated our C pillar, made us up a quarter panel out of what was left of our four-door wagon rear door. So what we're going to do here today, we're going to address this, because what I got going on, my body lines here, beautiful. Rocker gap, beautiful. Up here at the front, also beautiful. At least good enough for now. So what I'm running into is this top panel here, original quarter panel, okay? Then our door panel piece that we made up, it's coming down to match the door. So what I come to find out here is that the two-door doors are just a little bit shorter than the four-door wagon doors. So I'll get this straight edge here. I don't even know where I got this, but it comes handy. Just a quarter-inch piece of steel. And have my helper bring it over here. So what I got here, I got my straight edge up here on the top. As you can see, we're flush here, back there, but it starts to dip down. See what I got? Okay, and that carries on till we get to the front of the door. Could I get away with filling this? Probably. Am I going to do it that way? No, no way. That's just way too easy. So what are we going to do? Well, I got some sheet metal here. I got my metal brake. And I got a pretty good idea this will work because I've already done the other side. So now we're on the driver's side, guys and gals, and you can see we already did this one. So what we ended up doing here is we replicated the back original quarter, okay, the top piece here, and we allowed that body line to go from front all the way back. So that way that looks nice and even, nice and smooth transition through there. Got our door gap worked up. Now all this stuff's still rough because we're still trying to figure it all out as we go. But it just goes to show, you know, a little thought, a little preparation, and you can get this done too. So here you go, I'll show you this. This is actually the original B pillar off the four-door wagon, okay? Now the only thing I'm finding is this door striker, I'm gonna have to move it up to match the door from the El Camino. Other than that, you know, I just made the filler panel to take up the thickness where the door would have been on the wagon to give me my door jamb. Then same thing with the door here, okay? Now a lot of you guys and gals will know El Caminos do not have the top frame rail. So what I ended up doing was I took both the rear and the front door and I made one frame rail because I want this to have a frame around there to finish it off. So we'll have to make some pieces here to connect all this, but you know, as you can see, you can do this. There you go. So what I ended up doing here was cutting the whole top of the door and basically scabbing that piece in that I replicated to get that the way I wanted it to flow out. So we'll go over on the other side here. We'll get our stuff all set up and we'll get going on today's project. We'll click you back on when we're ready. All right, guys and gals. So what we're going to try to do here, we're going to take and replicate this panel right here. So these body lines, this back set, all that. And what we're trying to accomplish here is give us a nice level line from front to the back. So we're going to get our micrometer here. We're going to use this to help us out today because, you know, it's accurate. So we're going to take our measurement here and we're going to make a mark and get this guy bent up. We're using 18 gauge here. We want the thickness of it to have some rigidity. All right, guys and gals, we'll get this made up and we'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. All right, guys and gals, as you can see, we got our panel made up here. Now, what I'm going to do here is get this fitted in, and as you can see, I'll take this off here for you. And it's got some pretty complex stuff going on, but nothing that you couldn't do with, you know, a regular brake. And if you don't have a brake, some regular old 2x4s. But there you go. So we replicated our back piece there. Made this fit into our section there. That worked out pretty nice for us. Made a little hook here for us to hold it on the doorway. So we're going to line this up here. We're going to get our back marked out where we want to cut it and reattach it. And we're going to start getting this thing fitted in and welded into place. Now my goal here is to have this level, okay, because I got the car nice and level. Everything else is level. We get this worked out to where this piece, as we transition from front to back, is nice and smooth. So when we go to put this piece on here, it's sitting where it is there now. It actually needs to be held up to about there. So you can see, let me get you over here so you can actually see what I'm talking about. You'll be able to see here once I put this up where it's supposed to be. All right, I got my little marker as a reference point, but look at the difference. That's what we're working with. That's our difference there. Okay, that's where it is now. That's where it needs to be. So this is why we're going to have to go through and make the front, from the front half all the way to the back, because we want this to look seamless. Now, I did go over top of the door here, and as you'll see, I cut this out. All right, the El Camino doors, the Malibu doors, they don't have this framework around here like I told you guys and gals. So I added this piece. So what I did is I'm going to make it match the driver's side. Just a little custom touch. So I let this run wild, so it does two things for me. It holds everything where I want it. That way I know for a fact everything's lined up, and I'll just come back in here and cut this door piece out. And we'll just take a pattern from the driver's side and put it over here to get that. All right, so we're going to get this cut out, fit it in there, and start stitching it all together. We'll click you back on when we're there. All right, guys and gals, there you go. We got our panel fitted up, got our panel marked out. Now, you can see I got a couple lines going on here, and I'll explain them to you. So what I got here is where my new panel that we made fits up to. Okay, this line above it is a line that I put here as a reference point to where I don't want to cut below this line. And there's a reason for that. I'll get to that a little later. Now, a lot of you guys and gals might be wondering, why are you cutting that panel that big? Well, as you can see, there used to be a door handle here. And full disclosure, this rear door on this car wasn't in the best of shape when we used it. So, we're going to cut the ugly out. We're going to get the new fitted in here. We're going to keep making progress with an 83 two-door Malibu wagon. Well, there you go, guys and gals. You can kind of see how we braced it up. Connect our door opening to our new B-pillar. And now we're going to get this all cleaned up, get our new panel fitted up, start welding it back together. We'll click you back on when we're ready. All right, guys and gals, now you can start to see we're getting that fitted in there. You can see the difference here in the height of what we needed to where we were. So we're going to continue this out to this point to make sure that flows from front to back nice and smooth. All right, guys and gals, we're going to cut these two panels now that we got it level and where we want it to the body. We're going to cut them so we can butt weld them together. Let's get this out of the way and get this going. Remember, guys and gals, safety first. You want to get as much stuff under your feet as possible before you start doing this. Now you'll notice I'm cutting through both pieces. Now I'm really close to the bottom because I know I only have 3/4 of an inch there to work with. You just want to go down through here. Let me get my head out of your way, maybe. Go down through here and cut both pieces. That'll give you an exact space between both panels to weld it back together. And as you can see there, perfect seam to weld back up. All right, we'll get the rest of this cut out, start stitching this back together, and show you what it looks like when we're done. All right, guys and gals, and we got that cut. And as you can see, it gives us a beautiful gap here. We're gonna go through here and tack weld this all together. So what I like to do, I like to skip around a lot when it's an open panel like this and find my areas that are gonna be the most difficult to get to match up. And then start there. You get the idea. We'll keep jumping around there and getting that welded up. Making it right. Here's an instance. This panel ended up being a little further in. You take your little screwdriver here. You can just manipulate that back to flush. Some liquid metal in there and that'll never move again. Time here, go around, get this thing completely, fully welded in, grind it down, just keep hopping around to keep your heat down. It's just like doing a rust repair, except we just made ourselves a quarter panel. We'll click it back on, we get it all done. All right, guys and gals, there you go. We got our panel pretty much butt welded all together. Now, I will tell you, even though we took our time, there's always going to be a little heat that's going to draw these two panels together. So what I like to do is come in here. Let me get you switch around so you might be able to see. Anytime I can get a hammer and a dolly in somewhere is a good day. That's not bad. We'll keep working that until we get it where we like it. That way it's minimal filler work there to make that all blend. Now we're going to go up front here and we're going to make our next panel to connect our 2 points together to get that nice seamless look the whole way through. We'll click it back on when we're there. Alright, guys and gals, thing's ready to play. There you go. We got that top piece all cut up, all mocked up. Got the back section welded up. Still got to cut our door opening. like we did on the other side, but boy, does that make a difference. Look at that transition now from front to back. Boom, chicken. So I think that's going to about do us for today. We're going to go back in here, get this all welded up, ground down, and get ready to move this gal on to the next step, finishing the inside of the doors. All right, guys and gals, that's it for me and Miss Medusa today. You know why we do it. For the love of hot rods and horsepower. Go out there and get yourself a project. Start enjoying it. We'll catch you on the next one. Oh, baby. Looking good.